good day wherever you are. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to Queer Table Talk. Ekimeenza Ky'abasiyazi that happens every Sunday at about, and very soon, strictly 7:30 p.m. East African time. That would be 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, and everybody belongs there in between. I welcome you all on the Victor Mukasa Show with this special issue on the Queer Table Talk. As you have seen the headline, it is basically going to focus on Ghana, at least the first part of it. We'll be focusing on Ghana, where an anti-homosexuality bill has just passed in their parliament. We will have other updates also about Uganda and other issues that we usually discuss. Please don't freak out. It's not going to be very, very diplomatic show. It is still Queer Table Talk, where we address issues that are African, queer, our issues, and relevant. And I thought that this would be a very relevant thing to focus on or put a spotlight on this Sunday. I just want to know if we are hearing each other very well. I know, Chaze, do you hear me very well? Do you hear me very, very well? Yeah, we have a special guest today, Ghanaian LGBT activist who is going to be joining us. I already told you his name is Kobina. He's going to be joining us, but I would like to send a shout out to all those who are celebrating birthdays today. Thank you, Anot. Those who are celebrating anniversaries of any sort today, a special shout out to you. And to all those who have lost something, someone, a job, a family member, a friend, self-esteem. We hold you here and we walk with you. And please talk to somebody. Strength to everybody out there. I greet everybody on the Victor Mukasa Show profile page, everybody on the Victor Mukasa Show page on Facebook. I also greet everyone on Twitter and Justice Hunter Taylor. I see you, Hillary Taylor. I see you already on Twitter. This broadcast is actually live on Twitter, and please share it widely because we have business to take care of. As you know, we have just been in a battle regarding the anti-homosexuality law in Uganda. It was once a bill, like where Ghana's is. And if we do not fight hard, that one also will pass into law. We said here a long time ago, and many advocates have said that this is happening. It's an attack on the queer community in Africa. We know that Malawi, we had a show here showing what was happening in Malawi. Things are not good. In Kenya, a bill exists already. And sometimes we don't know what is happening elsewhere. Whether there are bills or not, queer people, LGBTIQ Africans are under attack. We are under attack. There are reports of violence from every corner of Africa, including LGBTIQ refugees. So today I decided to bring Kobina. Yes, on Twitter. Yes, thank you so much. Justice Hunter on Twitter. I've seen your comment here on StreamYard, and kindly share it more on Twitter so that people can actually follow what is happening in Ghana. The activists I'm bringing is Kobina, who I bring on stage. Kobina is a long-time comrade of mine. We have fought for decades for LGBT human rights in Africa. Kobina, these days I have seen other titles, probably spiritual, that I have not yet, really tried to understand. But Kobina is one of the longest-standing activists, gay rights activists in Ghana, and has worked hard to change a lot in Ghana. His work, together with his team, has brought to policy reforms, especially around response to HIV and AIDS, safety of LGBTIQ people, education, name everything, every aspect. Kobina has led a really good fight in Ghana. And he's also the executive director. I think you're still the executive director of CPAG. I'm going to let Kobina introduce himself to you all on Queer Table Talk.
Yeah, thank you, Victor Mukasa. I'm grateful for being here once again. I think this is the second time you've hosted me.
This is the second time you've been on the Victor Mukasa show.
Yes. The first one was when the bill was first introduced, and this is the second time I'm here, and I'm so grateful.
We thought that it was going to die, and now you're coming back with worse news.
Yes. So I'm still the executive director of CPEC at the Center for Popular Education and Human Rights. We've celebrated 20 years of working in the field, and we are still counting. I must say that there is a lot of we're all shocked because, like I said earlier, we thought this bill will probably be a thing of the past because we thought this will never happen in Ghana. But yes, it happened, and so we are also looking at how do we deal with it. And so we are praying that this thing will not be assented by the president, and then we can be able to say that it's gone. But then if it's assented or anything, with the community have already faced some level of harassment and abuse in the recent past because of the bill. Because even before the bill is passed, people thought it's been passed months ago. And so they've been already abusing people in various forms. They invite people to areas where they plan everything there, and then they will either attack you, and then they'll humiliate you. They will sometimes even robbery.
Right.
It's robbery because they will take your phone, and then they will demand that you enter into your mobile money account, and then give them the PIN, and they withdraw everything, and then they let you go. We've not had any of this thing being investigated by the police or anything, because the system is very high. The police there are some policemen who are very supportive, but the majority will tell you that they cannot stop people when they are being attacked, and they forget that our community members can also be violent people if they need be. And so what we are hoping for currently is that the bill will not be assented by the president, and that as it's in the bill also make way for that people should not be attacked or anything, but the attacks are already going on, and so we hope that we'll all be safe and then continue our work in Ghana, because this is where the country we have, and this is where we want to be.
That is home. That is home. And thank you for that background. But I need more about the background of this bill. And the first time you were here, the bill was being introduced for the first time. When was that? And what happened after that, very briefly, before we get to the passing of the bill in Parliament?
Yes, the bill, I think 2 years ago, we all saw the bill being introduced.
Was it a private member's bill?
It's a private member bill, yes. It's a private member bill. So we thought that, the content in the bill will not allow it to pass, because the private member bill allows that nobody should put up a bill that will put cost to the national, the state. For instance, if a policeman should arrest somebody, it means that he's using the state resources to be arresting people. And so then there shouldn't be a bill that will call for such arrest of police officers using their uniforms or their vehicles or something to pick persons who are LGBTI persons. Even when you are put in prison, you have to be fed at the prison. So if you are being fed at the prison, it means that whose money are you using? You are using the state resources. So it means that the bill also is against that. That shouldn't go through. So with this in hand, we thought we would not get this bill passed by the Parliament. So these are some of the things where we were looking at. But then the unfortunate thing is that it looked like they've taken, when you put your hands into the pot of the devil, you can't remove it. They've taken some resources.
McDarling is freezing right now. McDarling is freezing.
From the evangelical.
Ghanaian network is playing up.
Yeah.
Now
it's not a Ghanaian, it's a call came through, and that's the challenge.
Oh, all right. Yes. Please go ahead. So anyway, let's just jump to the passing of the bill.
So I think that
okay. McDarling is experiencing some technical problems. McDarling Kobina is an LGBT rights activist in Ghana, based in Accra, I believe. Has been working on LGBT liberation for quite a very long time, for decades. And McDarling visited us here 2 years ago and shared with us that an anti-gay bill was introduced in the parliament in Ghana. And he is back today with worse news that this bill actually passed. It passed in the parliament and has been sent to the president for assent. And he says they're hoping this bill will not be assented to by the president, but we thought that General Museveni would not assent to the anti-homosexuality bill in Uganda, and he did. And we also know that this is a very, very calculated strategy across Africa, backed by U.S. religious evangelicals. We believe also Russia is a part of what is happening in Africa in terms of the anti-homosexuality legislation. Yesterday it was Uganda, today it is Ghana. We know that pressure is building up in Kenya. The bills are just happening across. Pressure is building up in Malawi. Solomon Togoro was here also to talk about this together with his organization last year. So this is a very, very big challenge that we are facing. And I want to ask you, McDarling, this bill, the passing of this bill in the Parliament of Ghana, has it got anything to do with external forces like what we had in Uganda? Is there pressure from some kind of supporters of the family rhetoric that we've had in Uganda? What is the situation like that side?
Exactly what we thought is a situation, because those who proposed this bill, though the evangelicals, they came to Ghana, they came to have a convention in Ghana, where they met with members of parliament and the speaker, and then they met with some church leaders, and then immediately from Ghana, they move on to Uganda for a convention there. And so you can see the link
Wow.
between
Yeah.
the one of the Uganda and the one in Ghana. And
Yeah.
then we also had a lot of parliamentarians even saying that, oh, we want to do it like the Ugandans have done it. So
Right.
it means that they were communicating and exchanging notes with the Ugandan parliamentarians. And so these
Right.
are some of the, yeah.
And we also remember that last year, before this bill passed, there was a big meeting in Uganda convened by the government of Uganda. There were so many parliamentarians from different African countries. Did
Yeah.
Ghana participate in that meeting
Yes.
where the
Yes.
theme was to promote homophobia?
Yeah. Ghana was there.
It is no surprise, therefore,
Yeah.
that this is happening and that we should expect it in other countries.
Yeah.
Wow. Darling, very briefly again, what is the name of this bill, where we actually should have started from? I always imagine everybody has been reading. And what are the key provisions for this bill? What is it proposing?
The proposing of the bill.
What is the title of the bill?
Just to be
I know these
accurate.
days they have very long names.
Because they changed the name. They changed the name. It used to be proper sexual family values, something family values, and
Yes.
now they've changed it. They've changed it into something else. So just a quick one.
If you find it, please share it with
Yeah.
us.
So the name is Human Sexual Rights and Family Value Act.
Wow. Human Sexual Rights and Family Value Act.
Yes.
Human Sexual Rights and Family Value Act in Ghana, equivalent to the Anti-Homosexuality Bill in Uganda, equivalent to the Family Protection Bill in Kenya. These guys are crazy. Yes, what are the provisions of this bill? At least some of them.
Yeah, so the provision has to do with looks at promotion of LGBT activities. I think those were some of the ones that comes with the high sentences. Promotion of LGBT activities. We also have issues about people outing people. We've had issues where they said
Oh,
that.
wait a minute. So they are proposing that it is mandatory for people to out.
Yeah, like brothels and other places. Those who have managed some of these places, if the act takes place at these venues, it means that you can be sentenced. And so these are some of the things that how scary it is, because it means that if you don't speak up and then you are caught, then it means you have a question to answer, and that is
Right.
how serious it is. So it means that already we have laws that prevent people from accessing a hotel room or anything.
Right.
Yeah, we already have those laws, but then these are coming to also reinforce those laws, then to make sure that it means that two men cannot lodge into a hotel, or two women cannot lodge into a hotel, even if they are family members. You have to pay double to sleep in a hotel. And for me, I think that also these are actually affecting our African family values as well, because
Right.
in Africa, these are some of the things we do. These are some of the what we call community, where
Exactly.
families spend time together. You travel with your family, you sleep in the same room, you share the
Right.
same bed, you share the same sometimes even some people even share the same toothbrush. And
Right.
so if this bill is trying to separate these things and take us backwards, so that we if you are doing these things, then it means that because you're lesbian or you're gay, and that is why you are with a same sex somewhere at a hotel. So for me, I think that that is where we are getting to now. And so it means that you need to pay more if you are traveling with a family member than previously done, because you can't share the same room with a family member. And that's also one of the things that we looked at. But the thing is that there are other organizations that are doing some work, like health interventions, like our organization. We are doing some health programming and other things. If we are saying to be promoting that, I don't know how they will be able to know we are promoting or not. But then if you are saying to be promoting, then you're also liable to a prison sentence.
Have they described what promotion actually means?
They just passed the bill, and so we yet to see even how it will be implemented or what will come like how the bill will be implemented by the judiciary and the police and other things. It came last week as a surprise. We are yet to see whatever follows. And then I think they are pushing for the president to assent. And then we are saying, look, Mr. President, don't do this. This is not for a president who has championed human rights over the years, and then you are retiring in this term. And so we say, Mr. President, don't assent to this bill. Human lives will be lost, and then this will be attributed to your support or your assent to the bill. And so we say that they should not sign on to this bill.
Right. And I think that towards the end of your interview, you'll be calling on all those that need to put pressure on this. But McDarling, how did Ghanaians receive this news of the passing of the anti-homosexuality bill in Parliament recently? How did the media take it? How did the lay Ghanaian take it?
So the bill, I think they were strategic in terms of they formed a media coalition that were supporting the bill. And so someone like me will not be allowed to talk because they know that your views will be supporting human rights and diversity and everything.
So you will not be let to speak on national.
Yes. The media will not allow you to speak because they've been got to say that don't allow anyone who is who is against the bill to speak. Only bring on people who are against the bill, so that only bring people who are in support of the bill, so that they can promote the hate. And so some of us were all at the background handling meetings with leaders and politicians and seeing who will be on our side, who will be supporting us, and then how will the bill affect health promotion? How will the bill affect community, what we call the African community lives where we live? How will it affect those who are on the streets, who are LGBTI members and everything? So we've been doing a lot of meetings. We've been doing, especially our trans colleagues, because trans persons are visible, and then there's immediately a trans person shows up. Immediately you identify with this person is a trans or is not non-conforming, and so these are some of the things that we've been looking at. How would it affect intervention that targets some of these populations, and that's what we've done over the weeks. And I must assure that there are groups that are willing to, now that it's been passed, going through the bill to make sure that we identify how this bill is against human rights and then against the Ghanaian constitution, so that we can go to the court. So
these bills are definitely very, very unconstitutional. But okay, the media is on it. They're publishing more and more and letting pro bill supporters to be on air. How has the lay Ghanaian taken it? Like, was it publicized in the news, and how did Ghanaians take it? Because when we see the situation of Uganda, when the bill first passed in the parliament, Ugandans felt like it had become law already. They celebrated. They threw parties. They went out forward and said, "We are going to kill them. We are going to kill them." How is it in Ghana since the passing? Was it Friday when it passed in parliament?
Yes, it's Friday. Is it Thursday or Thursday? I think that with the interviews I've come across or so far, it looks like the Ghanaian, some are saying that, it's 3 years is too short. People should even be given life sentences and everything. Killing is not come up because one of the things that we've always challenged is that the love of God do not call for someone to be killed. And so if you are saying you're coming from the church and then you are promoting hate against a group, then don't go to the extent of saying they should be killed. Because if someone is killed, how would they get salvation? How would they get repentance? Or how would they get? So I think that they are smarter, and so they are not. They make sure that they amended the bill to do away with some of these things. And then there's instances where even if you attack somebody and it's reported, it is you can be arrested. But then most of those charges are just misdemeanors. They are not any serious criminal charges for anyone who beat you. So it means that someone can abuse you, but when the person is arrested, it becomes a misdemeanor, which is maybe to attract a lower fee or charges and everything. So these are the things that we think that should be looked at again.
Right. Thank you very much, McDarling. Lizo Teron, comrade, I acknowledge receipt of your question, and I will be sharing it with McDarling very shortly. McDarling, what is the general feeling amongst queer people in Ghana, the organizations, your organization? What is the general feeling?
There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear. I think that, like I said before, a month or two ago, we've had a lot of attacks, we've had a lot of beatings, a lot of blackmail and extortions within the community. And so these has increased those stands from the communities. And then we've seen, especially those on the grassroots, calling to check what is the status, what is what is going to happen to me. As I speak, there are people who are moved from the interlands who are in Accra to get shelters because they have challenges in those areas, and so the bill being passed, it means that they have to move for safety. But then nobody has been killed or anything yet, to the best of my knowledge, and that is, for me, is a good thing. But then that is the
displacement has started. People are becoming displaced.
Yeah, people are becoming displaced because they feel they are not in their home homes, and then their landlords will give them out, or their friends or family will give them out, and so people are moving around trying to find some safe spaces to settle in there. So these are some of the things that we are doing as an organization. I think that we've also been challenged because we don't know how safe we are and how we can survive in this thing. And so we've been managing like what we call virtual meetings and virtual to remain safe. Our offices are not that safe as well, and are open to the public. And so we think that we should remain in their homes and then try to do more of virtual meetings than going to the offices. We're hoping that we're still meeting with the lawyers and other persons and stakeholders who are interested in helping us go to court. So we are very sure that we'll overcome this. I try to be very hopeful because as a leader, you should give hope. And then, so I try to be very hopeful that, there's light at the end of the tunnel, because we think that if the president do not assent to it, there will be hope. If this law is pulled back by the parliamentarians, then there will be hope. But let's see, they've eaten from the devil's plate, and so they have to pass the bill. And so it got to a time where they know that what they were doing is wrong, because they faced a lot of challenge, I must say. But they still went ahead because they can't eat the monies and go scot-free. They have to pass something for the evangelicals, and they did. And so that's it.
Exactly. Are they engaging you? Is the government engaging you, or the president's office, or did the parliamentarians invite you as they debated this bill? Did you have any contributions?
They did invite. They did call for persons to appear, and there were groups that were there to talk to them and everything. So that was done. We've had engagement from different governmental agencies who were trying to know how the bill will affect us and how they can also support, especially those who do some health programs in terms of health interventions and. They were trying to see how the bill will affect their intervention, because if the bill is passed immediately, then they can even become criminals as well for supporting or taking care of the health of LGBTI persons or something. So those were the areas where the meeting was focusing. But you know that they also have a charter which talks about health for all, and so when someone appears before a nurse or a doctor, you are not supposed to be looking at what is your sexuality or your gender identity before you provide services. You look at what the person brought, and then you attend to the person, and then any other thing becomes a secondary. So we are hopeful that some of these things might not affect some of health services for our people. But even if it does, I think we will go to court. That's the thing. We are ready to hit the courtrooms and make sure that we have justice. This law is against our constitution. This law is against the Ghanaian constitution. And I think that if there are family values that we talk about, then corruption, if we want to corrupt past bills on moral grounds, then we should criminalize corruption. That should be the first bill to come to our parliament. When we criminalize corruption, then we criminalize adultery and then any other. Then we are dealing with bills, emotional. We are dealing with immoral kind of more moral laws. But then since we've not criminalized corruption and these others, I think that
they're not dealing with morals at all. Because what is more vulgar than corruption at this point in our countries? Well, Magdalene, first of all, I thank you so much for just showing up at such short notice. I salute you for that. For those of you who just joined us, this is Magdalene Kobina, Executive Director of Center for Popular Education and Human Rights in Ghana, a long-standing human rights defender, a comrade of mine, whom we have been across Africa with over the decades. And he's still fighting the same battles. Talking about the passing of the anti-homosexuality bill in Ghana, which has the longest name in the world, a bill that is proposing to protect family values, but indeed breaking the family values of Africans. That is what these bills have done. They are telling us to behave like aliens in our own motherland. And if you have any question, please send it over. There was a question from Lizzo Theron, and together with Lizzo Theron's question, Darling, I would like to ask you how the situation is in the neighboring countries like in Nigeria and all that. But Lizzo, and you know Lizzo, asks, from what you see in Ghana, does it seem that the same evangelicals planned their next countries? Did they plan their next countries? Victor said Malawi and Kenya has pressure building up. Is that your sense too?
Yes, I think these same evangelicals are the same ones. Like we mentioned earlier, they were the same ones because they organized meetings in Uganda, and then the parliamentarians assured us that they are going to give us what they gave to Uganda, exactly the same way they did it. And so this tells you that how connected and how they work around these things. And so I think that the same feeling is happening in Kenya and then Nigeria and other parts. I think they've even been to some of the French countries, but they've thrown them away because when I had a meeting in Togo, and then people were mentioning that yes, they've received some of these things in the past, and so. But the thing is that immediately they get those who will listen, and then those who will take their money. They'll give the money, and then they come back very strong and powerful. So I think that it's time we also do more to make sure that we cement some of the gains we made in the past, and make sure that our future becomes very brighter.
Right. Thank you so much. Alizo, I think you got your answer. Basically, there's a link between all these bills. It is the same people bringing them to Africa or giving them power in Africa. And as Darling mentioned, and I mentioned earlier, the parliamentarians from different African countries have met, and they met in Uganda over this particular issue, including Ghanaian parliamentarians. When they returned, they said, we are giving it to you, Ghana, and they have given it to them. So we believe that wherever these MPs are, these bills are coming up. And that calls for action from all of us. Before we call for action for the entire, fight on the continent, Darling, do you have any special actions that you would like well-wishers, human rights defenders, organizations, governments out there to do for Ghana at this point?
Yes, for now, I think earlier we were hopeful it will not be passed, but now that has been passed, we hope that any individual supporters, allies, can send their piece of advice to our government because this bill is not a good one. Then they should put pressure on our president so that he will not assent to this bill. And they should know that Ghana is for all, is not for...
Your volume has gone low.
Ghana is for all of us, and then not for only the churches or the religious groups. And so we should find a way of to live in harmony in the diversity that we have as a country. And so for me, that is what I will call that every group should write and put pressure. The more pressure we put, yes, we tried. We can say we tried and then it didn't work. It's better than not trying at all, because I know that our president is a listening president. And so if we are able to communicate to him, he should be able to listen to what the world is saying. So la luta continua. I think we will fight on.
Are you in touch with activists in Uganda, for example, who are battling the same thing right now, and in Kenya?
I think some other activists have been reaching out to activists from Uganda already. All right. I think there are some meetings. I've seen some group meetings that are coming up from tomorrow and other things. So I think there will be more coming over the weeks, and we hope that we can work with the other activists to make sure that we design a very good strategy onward. Thank you.
Activist and human rights defender Dennis Wamala says they have a weekly call every Thursday on Uganda. Do you think we need something like this on Ghana?
Yes, we sure.
We need to organize something that brings synergies together and ideas and strategies together, because I believe that the same challenges facing Uganda are the same in Ghana, and therefore also the strategies that Uganda is using to fight this, Ugandan activists are using to fight the Anti-Homosexuality Act, could probably work to a certain extent in Ghana or any other African countries. So sharing our resources, our energies, our strategies would be a wonderful thing, Judge Dennis Wamala. I think that other countries need our support, just like they have always supported us. And it is upon us right now to point our pens, I was going to say a word that is no longer acceptable on social media, to point our pens on Ghana. We cannot remain silent in the face of injustices anywhere in Africa, anywhere in the world. Darling, thank you so much. Do you have a last message to give? I know you have not explained your spiritual whatever titles because sometimes I want to call you a pastor, sometimes I want to call you Oga, sometimes I want to call you hey dude, the way we used to be. Sometimes I want to say hey bro, and I don't know if I'm talking to a pastor here or an Oga or a Babalao or I'm not sure.
No, I think I try to change to suit the occasion. One of the times I think I had a nephew who died, who is gay, who died, and I was at the funeral. And then during the funeral service, even though he's a Christian and he goes to church, they said, "Oh, we can't officiate his funeral service," and so he was buried like any other person, whatever. And I felt, I thought, look. I have a spiritual background. I have a religious background. I've been to the Bible school before. I can go back and then come and take care of some of these things. And so I did for the community. I did because I want to make sure that when those gaps come in, I can fill in those gaps. So all I do is for community's sake. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, darling. This thing really is big. I have been questioning myself and meaning to ask you, and the story behind it is really powerful. The story behind that is powerful. It is powerful, and I think at some point we want to talk about that, especially the story of your nephew and how he was treated simply because he is gay. This bullshit needs to end in Africa, in our communities. They are killing our communities. They are killing our African values. Thank you so much, darling. And this show is going to continue. It's just that we gave a little bit of it to our comrades, our family, our siblings in Ghana. And I will cut out this part of the show and we will share it even more widely. And please, all our viewers on the Victor Mukasa show, on Ekimeenza Ky'abasiyazi Queer Table Talk, please do the same. Thank you very much. All right. Abasiyazi, Abalagabata, queer people, queer Africa. That was Darling Kobina from Ghana. You have heard what is happening to Ghana. It is not only happening in Uganda or Ghana, it is happening elsewhere in Africa. We had Malawi talking about the pressure from religious leaders and the influence of foreign religious leaders, evangelicals, also preaching hate and, promoting potential legislation in Malawi. We have it in Kenya. We have all these debates happening in Nigeria, and other African countries. I think we need to re-strategize. And also we might have to stop looking at these challenges as our national challenges, but rather continental challenges, that we hold our hands together, each other, we hold each other and fight this demon that has attacked Africa. You've heard, they are saying they are protecting family values, yet they are beginning to break up families in Africa. They are leading to parents hating their children, chasing their children out of their homes, disowning their children. Somebody here told us on Ekimeenza Ky'abasiyazi on Queer Table Talk a few weeks back that their parent told them that they would rather live with a child who eats human flesh than be with a child who is a homosexual. That is completely un-African, what they're doing to our families. And we cannot sit down and relax when this is spreading like a wildfire. Ghanaian members of parliament, after meeting in Uganda, they told Ghanaians, we are bringing you what is happening in Uganda. And they proudly say this. What happened in Uganda has a ripple effect on the continent. Human rights are under attack. Most of the citizens of our African countries do not realize that these anti-homosexuality pieces of legislation are actually targeting every citizen. You are either going to be infected by this demon or disease of homophobia, or you're going to be affected by it. You're either going to be a gay person and be killed, be evicted, be banned, be beaten up, be expelled from school, be expelled from work. Or you're going to be a parent of a child who failed to go to school because they're gay. You're going to be a parent of a child who was killed because they're gay. You are going to be a parent of a child who has to run out of the country into Sudan, into unfavorable conditions, just because they're gay. You're going to be a family that is broken up because of hate. You are going to be a family that is at a loss. You are going to be a doctor that is at a loss. A doctor who is going to lose your medical ethics because of hate. A landlord who is going to lose clients because of hate. So we need to stand up as Africans and continue to let our fellow Africans know that this is hate being spread. that the propaganda used against homosexuals is propaganda to destroy our nations. It is high time that we did the job ourselves, even on social media. That is what I try to do, so that we reach our fellow Africans and show them that this is filth, that the real problems in our nations are corruption, land grabbing, poor education systems, poor medical systems. Our policies are poor. They do not support Africans. But these bills are blinding Africans to the real problems that are affecting us as Africans. Look at all the problems happening in Uganda. Look at what the dictatorship has done. But the dictatorship knows that when you bring up homosexuality and show that you're fighting it, Africans or Ugandans are going to turn the eye away from all the wrongs that you are doing. All the wrongs that have turned our nations into shitholes. It is what they're using to turn Africans against each other. And it is high time that Africans open your eyes to the reality of what is happening in our countries. Homosexuality is not what has brought poverty to our continent. Homosexuality did not destroy the education systems on our continent. Homosexuality or people being transgender has not brought hunger on our continent. It is not homosexuality that has led to the horrible situation of our hospitals across Africa. It is not homosexuality. It's poor governance. It's poor governance. It's corruption. It's greed. So what is happening in Ghana is happening in Uganda. It's going to happen elsewhere. So let us not remain silent when any of our countries is under attack. I am going to share with you all the link to the studio so that you join us if you can. Please join us if you can. I'm sharing it on Facebook. I will share it on Twitter if it is possible to join from Twitter. All you need to do is click on the link, and the link will bring you into the studio. I am pinning that link here on Facebook. And whoever, today this show is not broadcasting on YouTube because I wanted it to go to Twitter. But if you are on Facebook, I am placing the link in the comments section. We can talk a little bit about the bill in Ghana or the legislation in Africa, anti-gay legislation in Africa. But please remember that we can talk about anything else, anything African, queer, and relevant. So there you are. I have just placed the link in the comments section of my Facebook profile. Comrades, class monitor Catherine Nansamba, do you mind sharing that link also do you mind sharing the same link to the Victor Mukasa Show Facebook page? Comrade Adebayo, I'm very, very happy to see you here today. I see a comment that I do not understand with a lot of numbers from Vodafone. I will not highlight that, but I welcome you all to the studio. If you want to contribute to this conversation, click on the link that is in the Facebook profile of my Facebook profile on this live and join the studio. Those on the Victor Mukasa Show, I am sharing it very shortly. Those on the Victor Mukasa Show page, I'm sharing it very shortly. And those on Twitter, I will be with you in a second. Those on Twitter, I'll be with you in a second. Yes, join the studio, friends, and let us have a conversation on this. If you are done with this topic, then we go chit chat with gossip and everything as usual here on the Victor Mukasa Show. On the Victor Mukasa Show, I have shared it. On the Victor Mukasa Show, I have shared it. I welcome you all to the stage. Whoever is ready to come on the stage. Oh, a special shout out also to Anita, Stephen Sebuma, Anita, Mama Toronto. Mama Toronto has had a very difficult week, a week where she had emergency surgery and is trying to recover from that surgery. Anita, wherever you are, we send you strength and healing vibes that was a tough week. That was a tough week for Anita. And those of you who can reach out to Anita, please reach out to her. Mama Toronto is in pain, underwent an emergency surgery, and she can give you the details herself. She is recovering from the. Yeah. Anybody able to? Are you able to join the studio, friends? And if you're not able to join the studio, I kind of have each out to take care of. The show could also end right here. The show could end right here, and it was very great that we had Magdalene Kobina on the show. For those of you who have just joined us for the first time, we are here every Sunday. We are here every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. East African time, with queer vibes. Every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. East African time. Oh, a special shout out to Bombastic Kasha. We spoke recently, and yeah, I realized that your name hasn't showed up here on Ekimeenza Ky'abasiyazi for quite a long time, but I greet you and Sandy over there in Massachusetts. I send you warm greetings on this slightly warm Sunday. It looks like the winter is coming behind us. Comrades in Uganda, human rights defenders on the ground, our siblings on the ground, queer fraternity on the ground in Uganda. We love you and we send you strength. Our queer siblings who are in the refugee system in Sudan, in Kenya, in Rwanda, in Congo, in Zambia, in Malawi, and elsewhere in Africa, we send you strength. This too shall end. It will end someday. Let's just not give up on fighting for our lives, for our dignity, for our human rights. There is my comrade and brother, Adebayo Katete. It's my boy Katete.
Victor.
Yes, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing fair. I'm doing
Good to
fair.
see you. It's good to
Yeah.
see you. And I saw that you were following Magdalene Kobina as he shared with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really, really saddening to know that it is just getting worse on the continent.
It is. It is very it is very alarming, and I think it calls on to every person, not only queer people.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a whole attack on marginalized communities.
Right.
Having our governments pass laws that you can't identify as a crime.
Yeah, and it's
Should we say it's an attack? You know what I'm saying? It's an attack on identity. It's now beyond the queer community, but an attack on identity. If we can't identify as our authentic selves, they want us to identify as man and woman. You know what I'm saying? That is then okay. They forget, clearly, they're forgetting that now that means even identifying as a man and a woman is now a crime. So we should perhaps, it's very alarming, honestly, and it doesn't really, it should like every person, every human being. And this is, who said, there is a quote of an activist who said the rent they're paying to be on the universe is activism. You know what I'm saying? And this should call on to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody, because also the attack is everywhere.
It's everywhere. Even here,
I know that in Edmonton, in Canada, in North America, the whole of North America, and Europe too.
You see,
trans communities are under attack.
We are under attack. We are being used as a political arena for politicians. You get what I'm saying? Who want to? They're using us as their beacon. You get what I'm saying? Here in Edmonton, here in Alberta. We are receiving so much attacks, and these are coming from from our conservative government, attacking trans communities, attacking trans youth, right? And the parties, the consultations were done on folks who detransitioners, folks who have detransitioned.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people the government consulted. They have different peaks. When I saw what happened in Ghana, when I saw that bill passing in Ghana, I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where should we go? Where is safe?
Because now you fled to Canada for safety, running away from homophobia and transphobia in Uganda. You are in Canada and you are under attack right now.
Exactly.
And actually, can you bring up to date everybody who is listening to us about what is happening, the battle that you're engaged in, the fight that you're engaged in Canada, the anti-trans attack, the attack that we have on trans people in North America? Do you mind talking about what's happening in Edmonton?
Yes, I can. In Alberta, because Edmonton is the capital city of Alberta, but it's happening in the whole Alberta and the whole province of Alberta. Our Premier, Smith Daniel, is trying to pass policies, anti-trans policies, where I will start with trans youth. It's an attack on trans youth, saying these policies, trans youth, trans kids, teachers at school, because we have GSAs here. So teachers have to tell the parents of the kids if the kids use different pronouns or different names, refer different names at school, forgetting that sometimes we are not safe at home. You get what I'm saying? That's the whole thing, whereby some kids find safety in teachers. And also it's saying it's taking away surgeries. Like that. But clearly, because there is no doctor who is taking trans kids into surgeries. There's a whole procedure. Kids have to be a certain age. But I don't know what the Premier is trying to really pass. It's also hormonotherapy at a certain age, hormonal brokers. It's saying the kids should not have hormonal brokers until the age of 16. But then what is the use of hormonal brokers at that age? You get what I'm saying?
You know what puberty does? You know what puberty does to a trans person?
Exactly.
That's where we get destroyed.
And this is where I'm like, people who don't live in trans bodies should not have a say on our bodies in the first place, right? You should not have a say. I'm saying trans athletes should not compete in, especially the attack is especially on trans women, but it's also on trans guys, right? If you're a competitive athlete, you're at a very high advantage, so you can't compete in female sports. Right. And that we should be competing in just co-ed sports. Right. So I'm like looking at a trans athlete who has done this training. You get what I'm saying? They have dedicated their time. I know how it feels because
because you've been there, yeah.
Because I've been there. You get what I'm saying? And you tell us we just have to play co-ed. You get what I'm saying? So that itself is very, very damaging to the sport.
You get what I'm saying? To the sport and the individuals having their dreams shattered just like that.
Exactly. And to the individuals, right, who are transgender, who deserve to be in sports. Trans bodies, trans athletes have every right to be in sports. And not to say, we're already going through very transphobic procedures to even get on, to get into this competitive lanes, to stand on the block, to swim. We are going through very transphobic procedures. Taking hormones that you're not supposed to be taking, the different procedures of, you have to started transitioning at a certain age. All this, is just taking away the idea of sports. You get what I'm saying? The fact that we have to be in sports. We belong in sports. Trans people belong in sports. Trans youth deserve to be protected and have a right to safety. They have a right
to be there.
Yes, they have a right to be who they are at any time. If our parents are not safe, if our mothers are not safe, if our fathers are not safe, and our teachers are safe, nobody should really come and make that space unsafe. Because it's already unsafe for us to be with our parents. You know what I'm saying?
It's the one space that you have.
Exactly. The Premier is claiming he's putting himself in a decision between a doctor and a patient and a parent. And he wants the doctors and patient to report to the Premier before we go through all those
procedures. We are coming to you. Go on, brother.
Before we go through all those procedures. The Premier is planting herself into a decision that it has to be between a doctor and a patient.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Which is absolutely wrong. This is an attack on all trans identities everywhere.
Right.
Right? We had a meeting with the Prime Minister, literally.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. And also, the Prime Minister disagrees with what is going on. You get what I'm saying? But also, there is procedures because we are in different governments, right? It's not like in our countries, in Uganda.
Yeah. I saw the attack on Kenya. I saw the attack on Justin Trudeau on Twitter for when he reported on that meeting and some of his views and how Canadians reacted to that. It got me scared for trans people in Canada.
Yeah, but the
reaction from Canadians.
Exactly.
What's the state? What is the province?
Alberta.
Yeah, it was really scary for me.
It is very, very scary. But, also there are people who are supporting Canadian in nature, are people who are very kind, very considerate, very giving in nature. And like a few Canadians, a few of those transphobes cannot really represent this whole culture that I'm part of, because I'm a Canadian. You get what I'm saying? So they cannot really represent the whole Canada by their hate. We have communities standing up, stepping up, for trans voices, protecting trans youth, protecting the trans community by all what they got. You get what I'm saying? We have our prime minister standing right side by us, right? We have very many members of parliament who are saying no. We have organizations that are ready to take legal actions at any time. You get what I'm saying? To fight this. Right. So for any trans youth out there, like, don't be discouraged. We know we have this social media bullying. But they also they're passing this social media bullying. So if any person out there is trying to bully and say transphobic things on trans people, we will sue them. We will sue them.
And I hope that one passes in Canada.
It did, yeah. We'll sue them, and they will have to pay 70,000 Canadian dollars, and they will have to go in prison at a certain time.
Has it passed?
Hey.
And that is for only the province of
no, for Canada, the entire Canada.
Entire Canada? Wow.
Yeah,
that's a development.
The entire Canada, yes, yeah. So
wow.
and for me, I lean on those small steps the federal government is making to really show the marginalized communities, trans communities that, hey, we're here with you. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
We're here with you. We stand
that's
with
protection.
You. Yeah. But we have to continue, saying no to these anti-trans policies, to the attack on the entire LGBTQ community. Literally, we have presidents from, these countries telling our African communities, our African government, that we are sorry. Those were colonial roles. You get what I'm saying? Those are, please stop it,
But our fellow Africans don't realize that.
Yeah, it is African culture. It is not at all African culture. Victor was recently presenting on a national platform with over 200 plus people who turned up, government officials. And I mentioned about the being gay is African. You get what I'm saying? And that our king in Uganda, King Mpuuga, was a bisexual king. And I had one person who asked a question and said, I studied, I have a degree from Makerere University, and I have a knowledge, so much wisdom in history. And what you're saying, I never studied about it. Where are you getting? Seriously, Victor, where are you getting this? Are you getting it on the internet? What are your sources and stuff like that? Right? So this shows you that even when we leave our countries like Uganda, Ghana, all these countries to come here for greener pastures, we carry our homophobia and transphobia.
Right, I know that. The
fact that we can question a platform like that, and that I did tell them because of the stage I was on. I was like, you're going to have to educate yourself a little bit more. The truth is, you're not going to go at Makerere University and they teach you about this. But have you digged deep in your history? Do you know why the Uganda
renowned researchers, very critical research has been done about that. Dr. Sylvia Tamale would not lie in a research that she spent years on unpacking this, or any other researchers who have actually written about it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. And there's oral history in Africa. It's oral history. The stories have been told.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was in my heart, because at that point and how the question landed, right? It was like a dismissal of
yeah.
Everything.
You don't know what you're talking about. I got a degree.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Bro, those of you who don't know Chris Katiti is in Canada. Chris Katiti is an activist, an artist, big time musician, Mibimba, and also a film producer. He's also a counselor. He's a coach. He's so many things. A sports icon. Like, it's a lot. And he's a trans man, a proud one.
That's the thing, Victor. People should not only define us by our identities. There's so many other things we do. In fact, I released that song, Victor, about the injustices, I'm wondering why. And when I leave, I would like to leave the people with just a cappella of it,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, if identity is a crime, take me to the jail, man. You get what I'm saying? So, like, it's a clear, that is one of my clear line in it. You get what I'm saying? Because, which means if you can't identify, if I identify as a trans man, that is a crime, then you who identify as a woman should be a crime.
It's a crime.
You get what I'm saying? You who identify as a man should be a crime. So the Ghanaian government should be aware of that. That even the person who passed it and identified as a man is also subject to prison for 3 years.
Because his identity is illegal.
His identity is illegal.
Anita. Bro, Chris, do you know that Anita has been very sick?
I saw some posts, Anita.
Yeah, she underwent an emergency surgery this week. How are
What
you doing?
And you're here with us. What a blessing.
Muli mutya?
Je Tudi. Ugamba otya Mama Snow. Mama Toronto. Mama
Nazadde abalongo tindinaalongo muli mutya?
Mama Ottawa.
Nguyazadde abalongo ne bamusala.
Ngamba ki?
Je Tudi.
Libayo kulikayo ne Prime Minister wa Canada.
Namulabye.
Sajja akola emirimu oyo najja n'atubuulira ffenna ensi yonna netegeera biki byatwogereddeyo.
Saagala kwekwata. Boom. Okitegeera.
Kakansanyusa nnyo.
Kirungi. Nze kale nze kyensinga okwagala kweno ensi kale ebyokujjanjaba biri bulungi. Abasinga nabadde Uganda singa Kenya singa kati ndi mufu. You know. Kubanga bantwala nga soogera suulira siri bulungi, you know. Neneebaza n'omwana muwala eyanzigya ewaka wano ankubira poliisi, you know, naye nga sibitegeera. Neneebaza ne Victor okumbeererawo ng'akonekitinga na buli omu. Naye nali bubi.
Wali bubi. But God had you and Canada had the services.
Yeah.
And they didn't care whether you're trans or not.
N'abankolako baali basiyazi kwaliko trans nga neegombye bambi.
Bannange ani toyagala okwegomba.
Victor ndi mulungi.
Chris abasomesezza okweyagala.
Omukazi yanneegomba trans bambi nanjaga nagamba n'abasawo abane muveewo nozamukolako mumpe empapula.
We are glad that you're recovering. Okay?
You know, nzomanyi kyenzigiremu ekyokuyiga is how much potential we can support our people. Victor Torina mu Canada, which they get. You're not even Canada, right? You're not even closer to Anita. But you are able
face to face.
But you're able to offer this support. And I think it should be also alarming, a call to everybody, right? Wherever you are, whether you are, you don't have to know or even see someone or be in the same country to offer support.
That's right.
That is the takeaway.
Wanje?
We can do that for each other.
Yeah, Victor mbeera wano omukazi amuyita Sherry abeera wano mu Canada. Yambeereddewo ndoza n'omulamu bwe nnina yabuntaddeko.
Sherry, the trans woman also in Toronto.
Bannange. Mukama abatuweere emikisa.
I was talking to Anita. I was at work. I talked to Anita while there. And then I told her, you know what? I have something to do for my client. Let me first go. We'll talk again. We were laughing. And then about 3 hours later, when I got off work, I checked. She had sent me a message that she's in hospital. Yeah, in just a matter of hours, about 3 hours. And then the battle started. But she's fine now.
Just omutwe gunnuma. Nene omulinkindo sina mpulira nazo nga zinnuma. Nene mmira ku mpeke nempulirako bulungi.
Ate abalongo bali batya bewazadde?
Abalongo tebali tennatuuka kuzaala wali mweri gye bakuumira abaana.
Bali gye bakuumira abaana mu incubator. Bavudde mu bufi.
Yeah.
Katonda yakola abantu bano.
Naye Victor ntuuyanirira oba kiki?
Omusawo yaŋŋamba kasita ofuna omusujja oddayo.
Ntuuyanirira.
Kyobola abo bali Bulaaya, buli ali Bulaaya bannange, obuntu buno buttatira ku nyumyako, obuntu bukulu nnyo, mugule ku thermometer mu drug shops awo, mubeereko ne thermometer waka.
Naye nkalina akantu.
Kati essaawa zino olina kubanga weekebera omusujja. Omusawo yagenda naye ku ssimu ng'agamba nti nno kasita ofuna omusujja bakuzeeyo. So you need to check your musujja.
Kati nkubira.
Bw'okateeka mu nkwawa ojja kagattako 1. Bw'okateeka mu kamwa kaleke nga bwe kasomye.
Kankakebereko wano ndowooza nkulage kennina bakakola.
Tugenda kujjanjaba Chris kati tufuuse basawo lwaki wali bakkojja kati tufuuse basawo. Teekayo thermometer. Adi abamu tebamanyi nti obw'omu nkwawa ogattako akamu ogattako 1.
Yeah.
Mukamwa togatta.
Naye olaba even like with surgery nugget when I call my knee surgery there are so many sweating okutuyanirira it's normal. But if there is anything, of course,
Kasita yebanga tegenze nnyo waggulu.
Ano?
Katika switching on oteekeyo mu nkwawo. Ozibikireko bulungi. Yeah. Naye n'omusawo we ng'amusiibula munnange anti omusawo ayogera Japan ng'ate ani tayali mulwadde nnyo ng'olu Japan talutegeera.
Ng'ate ne gwendi naye twenkana olu Japan.
So omusawo n'ambulira buli kimu. Kulaba oti akati omusujja temperature weti ate kakati the dressing the diet byali bingi.
Bannange.
Lumujjanjabye naye nga yali bubi.
Sending you hearing
Mpulira
vibration.
kakaba nkajjemu.
Kati kajjeemu kasome.
Kali 36.6.
37.6. Kakati mulimu Celsius. Akakomu nkwawo akongerako 1 degree. So at 37 mu Celsius, is that normal? Anti fete tubalira mu Celsius, tubalira mu Fahrenheit. Chris, mu Celsius, is that normal temperature?
I think it is. I don't know. Yeah. But I think.
Sometimes I forget into about mu Celsius. Aba Canada. That is bad in 90 something.
Tuba tuwedde.
So fe tuli mu 90 tuli mu Fahrenheit kati tutandikire eyo obala anti kati mbadde 97 mbadde 96 mbadde 98. Anita, you're fine. Just keep drinking a lot of fluids, healthy fluids like water.
See, Victor, nina budget better jenna temaza kugula bintu bingi.
Ebintu bitandika wano. Obulamu tebulina photocopy kino bwe kinaafa nga nzijayo photocopy.
You have to always take.
Ate ne ku budget yo tekwetaaga ku budget y'amazzi.
Era nyoga na katapu.
Nywa bunywi abantu baganywa mu Bulaaya. Just keep drinking water. If you can't access katunda, nywa amazzi. It's very, very important. N'amazzi n'emmere olye bulungi. Omusawo yagamba your diet can go back to normal. Okay, so ekiriwo kyonna ky'oba oli.
Nja kuba bulungi.
You'll be okay. Ala yali bulungi akujanja.
Era nyambeereddewo wano naye.
Kale akati fe twakedde wano n'omunnagana kirabika ffe tetulina byamaanyi nnyo olwaleero n'olwekyo ndowooza tutandika okwesiibulasiibula naffe tutandika okutegeka ebya wiiki ejja.
Amin. Ndeka mbakayimba nga
watusuubizaayo akapeera waffe.
Oluwulira.
Yeah.
It is out on YouTube, on Spotify, on all social media platforms. In a land no map where the virus should strive, it's time to break a chain, let every soul survive. Transphobia, a darkness that should never strive. I live another day to tell this to my mama son. We're breaking down the walls, tearing apart the love, no reason to divide. Open up your mind and let compassion take the lead, and learn from one another. It's simple as it is. So when you say muted by you, it's crazy. Somebody always secular by you. Under the beauty, this we need to break apart in society. Nothing but reality. It's sad, but it's kind of true. Listen to the song of change. The streets gone cold, I'm wondering. The streets gone cold, I'm wondering why. The streets gone cold, I'm wondering. I'm wondering. This is for the Rockies. Embrace the beauty in every shade and anything. Unity is the key to the hammer. Don't ignore the misery. Eternity is the vanity. And the God your family is like a job and a salary. When I look around, all I see is an emphasis, authentic, dynamic, holistic, ballistic, never contradicting. Love is a weapon. Joy is a weapon. Yeah. It's like a job and a salary. When I look around, all I see is an emphasis, authentic, dynamic, holistic, ballistic, never contradicting. Love is a weapon. Joy is a weapon. The sweet gone cold, I'm wondering. The streets gone cold, I'm wondering why. The streets gone cold, I'm wondering. I'm wondering. I'm not a criminal, and if I don't know the crime, then you take me to the jail. You know, you put some low. We can no longer be enslaved. So we keep it holding down. Together we can holding down. So keep it down, you know, that's too beautiful to know. You're my fella, I'm your fella. Don't you ever think I'm different? You didn't to separate. We're not too desperate. These two are planet. This too is our planet. Yeah. Sweet gone cold, I'm wondering. Sweet gone cold, I'm wondering why. Sweet gone cold, I'm wondering. I'm wondering. Yeah. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why. Gone cold, I'm wondering why.
I am ballistic.
Never contradict. Love is a weapon. Joy is a
Joy
weapon.
is a weapon.
I guess that's a message to all our community, queer community, trans.
Across.
You know, let's use our joy as a weapon and our love
as a weapon.
Despite these challenges that we are experiencing, actually, I'm going to also present Radical Joy on a global platform.
Right. Oh yes. I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Ngendo gule wali wansi, mugule wansi to ayingire eno.
Yeah.
The song also says this planet is ours too.
Yes.
These countries, these nations, these spaces are ours too.
They're ours too. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, it's our space too. It's
Hillary Dawson.
You know.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Daddy Bayo.
Hello, dear.
Ugamba otya?
Mukwano sigamba ate gwe.
Bw'atatusomesa mu bigambo ajja kuyimba tujja kuyiga.
Nja kuba.
Okitegeera.
Yimba. Okitegeera. Oba kiri kiti oba kiri ki ate nga bwimba kuba n'obuyimba bw'omukwano. Okitegeera. Nga tuli babiri outside. You get what I'm saying?
Naye nange senga abakuchumwali nga twewagira nnyo. Senga tukolayo ne show wano. Ne tusasula abayimbi baffe mu cash app mu gundi bwaffe buno obusasula eno. Ba Chris ne bakola performance nga kuliko ne Brayo. Ne tunyumirwa paka
kuchigala. Brayo, by the way, was my inspiration. You know, one time I wanted to sing in Brayo's band one time. And I'm like, you know, but those are times I was still playing soccer, but I also had self-doubt. When nataka kufuna hormones nechisito ningasebe
mutufu natuuka nayingira nafugutukayo mutufu nalwana
no
oyagala violence.
Yeah.
Hormones zina bwe zikujjayo munda
no viable tostegera. Violence waba wakweyagala tugenda kweyagalira mu violence.
Justice Hunter ku Twitter akulagi agambye great song Chris.
Yeah,
blessing.
Blessing Justin naye mulaba nnyo we follow
mulwanyi namige
abwatula mulo ate bana yongera
tayogerera nti oba n'obukoba bali bokka we ekijja nga kiriko okulinyirira eddembe ly'omuntu.
Victor Gambo otya mugamba mutya?
Tuli bulungi twatandikidde mu biyongobero by'e Ghana
bannange nabirabye ne ntyamu
etudda mu biyongobero bya Anita abadde omulwadde.
Omanye ennaku zino
messages zireeta hope.
Ennaku zino nkola kiro kati nabadde ndi ku mulimu nkebera ku simu like ngenda okulaba Ghana ne ngamba nga si birungi si biwoomu naye biraga nti nno olutalo tukyayita maaso gye tuli.
Yeah. And also the other thing, it also for me, the other thing, it shows me that we have also come far. Like people are recognizing us. We are not going anywhere. You get what I'm saying? Even if they pass those laws and bills and stuff, it means we have voiced ourselves. We are taking over. You get what I'm saying? And we have to continue pushing. We have to. One thing I asked the Prime Minister was, and I stick on it, is making sure trans and queer identities are in political positions of power, whereby we can make our decisions. We can be a part of those tables that decide. You get
right.
Think they can decide on our lives, on our and by so doing, educating us in those arenas, it is important.
The queer community munsi yonna is so strong kuba government enamba wenziirayo netula wansi netereteeka babatte nga n'ababbi bakola government official abalya sente z'omuwomuso tebabateeka okuteeka nti babatte nene bavayo batte the queer community tuli bamaanyi omanyi nti
I hear you.
But like community y'abakwiya ndoza bagitya nnyo bakyabanga kyoto kya ntiisa government namba nevayo tuwule munange bagakonda abaana baffe kati bakole bwe tuti it's really shaming.
Ebintu ebirina okukyusa obulamu bwa Africa buddeko bali kumusiya
nnyo kubanga tusanga government nambe Ghana kuba Ghana si yensi engagge nnyo mu Africa mana eri giri nsinjavu mufo kyokuddaku ebintu ebigenda okuzimba ensi bisitule omuntu wa wansi bali ku busiyazi obutakwatagana. It's really shaming.
The attack is continuing.
It's not going to stop there, it is because everyone is adapting it, and they're adapting it first of all because we are making change.
Ate kulisolaba government za Africa kati they use it like ng'ekyokulwanyisa mu by'obufuzi bamanyi be bakyekwatako nga bafuna support from the people kwa abantu abasinga Africa tebagala basiyazi kati bakikozesa as a weapon of getting political gundi eyo gain mu bantu bakikozesa nnyo.
And they are so organized. They have support.
Simanyi bagenda mu kulonda.
The meeting that happened in Uganda, I think it was March last year, that brought members of parliament from different countries in Africa. Their mulamwa was okulaba nti bus stopping obasiyazi mbu mu Africa.
Aye,
Bus stopping. But all these members of parliament from different African countries were in Uganda. Nga bino bye bateesaako ne bagamba baddeyo mu nsi zaabwe bakole emirimu gyabwe. And this is the work that they're doing. Manya bintu bibeerawo ne tubiwulira mu mawulire ne kivaawo ne kigenda naye nga kirese impact y'amaanyi.
Kyebagala okungamba nti obusiyazi obulemeseza Africa okulaakulana.
Yes, that is what they are trying to say to you. That is the lie they are trying to spread to the suffering Africans. And Africans want to stop the suffering. And if you're convincing them that it's homosexuals who have caused it, they will take it.
They are just after selfish interests. Baba abantu obusiyazi bubi era bava mu nsi z'abazungu bandange byagala okuinfluencing abaana baffe lwaki bajjayo abantu abasinga ba government balina abaana basomera eno gye bakkiriza ebisiyaga lwaki bajjayo baana bagenda basomera ewaabwe bakimangayo twabagamba bisibuka eno obusiyazi simanyi influence ya western culture tetukkiriza abaana baffe kubiyiga kati lwaki babaleeta eno
bajja kulwanyisa buli kimu ate Chris Canada yabagambye nti nno kabaka waffe yali musiyazi kabaka mwanga era naye bamuwanyirizaayo Canada
bampakanyiza omuwala yakiro omukono nagwa n'abuuza nene ngamba of course we are very very misinformed, you know, and they're very very misinformed, and the thing is they are also locked up in ignorance. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, right. They want us to dim our lights, you know, so that we can bend low, take away our, forget who we are, which is absolutely that can't happen. You know, it can't happen.
They're doing the opposite of what they are saying.
There are some things beyond like obongo wa Africans abamu. I hate to say it na yebulia bulinga maziga mu kidiba. I'm not being mean. Nete bwe yongera ko tomate gatambula, tegada maso, tegada gabela getwera bwe gati. Kati bafuna African
because we don't educate ourselves, we don't research, and because we are.
And it's also history. What colonialism did to Africa was to first of all block critical thinking.
See about how somebody's sexuality. I don't even see about how somebody's sexuality hindering economic growth over like development of the country. Ate nga n'oyo omuntu gwe muyigganya asobola okwera bayambako okukulakulanya ensi kubanga abasiyazi bangi basomye. If you can give them jobs obanga otaddewo embeera working environment nga nnungi ekyobusiyazi kireke otunule productivity ye oba onfuna. Do not focus much on sagana kwogera bye babinyiza.
Nanti, that's why we have to show people where the lie has been placed.
Sometimes
you don't have to blame so much. Blaming homophobia movie. It is bad. It is bad. It is ugly. But the tactics is that
like Taina Chagatako, like Avera Taina Bumlama Munsi, I'm just saying. So what we never see as a they're excelling. Successful, they're okay, they're doing professional work, Bali Burunji, Ngaba and Tuanaba, Bali Nomo. Abana maine minimum bakola basinga sente wabo.
Hillary. Tuzanyimu akazanyo. Oyina kazino wa myaka nga 32.
32.
Ali mu kyalo. They are living in the village. They are 32 years old. They're your cousin. Right, they are very homophobic. Yeah? They know nothing about what Basiyazi Eduke Uganda, what they are doing in Canada.
Yeah.
The only thing they know, and they have been told, is that abasiyazi bakwata abaana abato. Abasiyazi bambala pampa, abasiyazi babinyo be baleeta enzige, abasiyazi balwanyisa gavumenti, abasiyazi baleesa obwavu, abasiyazi babuzizza enkuba, abasiyazi bali mabega wa pressure, abasiyazi bali mabega w'abo abakuba abantu amasasi, you know, abasiyazi babinyo, abasiyazi muba mugenza okukola, they come and take your little boys. Tuzanya kazanyo. Your cousin who is 32 years old, this is the only information that they have. They listen to radio. On radio, they bring anti-gay propagandists. And they come and tell all the lies that they can tell in the world. Kati ng'ovudde bwekyo atuuka ekiseera nga they are an-African ng'ali mu system yaffe erina history gye bataatuyigiriza kwerowooleza. Omuzungu bwe yajja yagezaako okutuyigiriza okubeera yes and buli ekijja you believe it, you cannot analyze. And we have been seasoned to be gullible. Okitegeera omuntu oyo omulowoozaako ki kuba kati ogamba mbuno tebamanyi nti nno kati ate abasiyazi bali mu kukola eno takimanyi. Era bw'omugamba omusiyazi byenkugambye byalaba.
Amanyi batuwa ssente okuba abasiyazi. Because I saw the Kenyan
akimanyi tuli mu kampala tulina amasomero tuyigiriza abaana okwepiica. That's why we have to work hard to show them, to reason with them. Bajja kutuuka ekiseera bareasoninge naffe. Obabuulize ddala nti no kati gwe bwolaba Elton John nga ayimba ennyimba Sacrifice ng'olabye ddala Pampa nga yeeyimba gwe bw'omuntu n'owulira abapalamenti kuganye mu palamenti ya Uganda mulimu Abasiyazi, but when you look at them, do you see any of them nti atambuza Pampa? Omwana wo yali Musiyazi naye nga tokimanyi nti Musiyazi era nga tayambala Pampa. The day you found out that they are gay, is that when they started wearing a Pampa? Okitegeera omulimu tetulina kubawa nnyo saluti ezo nti bambi tebamanyi, balina okweyigiriza naye naffe tukyalina omulimu. Balimbiddwa nnyo bali nga waliwo naffe bye twalimbibwa bingi nga with time okuwuliriza abalala tubi unlearnings ate ebimu ne tuteekayo omwoyo Kristo kyagamba nti mweyigirize mwebisaakingire ne twebisaakingirira. Okitegeera so balina paati ey'okuzanya naye naffe tukyalina paati ey'okuzanya. Waliwo omusiyazi agamba si mulimu gwange okusomesa omuntu omulala naye ng'ate some of us have to put it upon ourselves to teach about humanity.
Naina olaba no bugude bateka mu nyumba bu moto like bino bateka ku kisenge kati mama wange alina akantu ke yali atimba mu kisenge kye ngagambye I've come a long way but I still have a long way to go. Kati olaba ku ya community mutufu tuvudde wala nga bwogambye kubanga wetuli si wetwali at least byakyuka muko but still nga bwogambye we have a long way to go. Omulimu mungi gukoleddwa naye ate ogukyali mungi okutegeeza abantu bano ekituufu
tulina bu battles bwe tuwangudde
kuba mazima gali nga bwogambye people like abantu balina propaganda mungi
nga yayingira gwe
obulimba bungi.
For how long did you believe muli baana ba myaka ki naye ab'ensanvu ffe twakkiririza ddala nti Museveni afuuka kapa nzira nakula nkimanyi nti Museveni afuuka kapa ng'era sikirowooza nga konti naye omuntu afuuka atya kapa kuba saakulira mu environment erina okwebuuza. Twalabanga ekiwuka nga tuli baana bato omuzungu omwana bw'alaba ekiwuka mami tutu nga batandika omubuulira ku kiwuka ekyo. Why do you think it's walking? Omwana naye erabira nti kirina ebigere. Uganda bagamba kikube kitirawo nga tomwebuuza ekiwuka kitambudde kitya do you think it has a mouth? Omwana n'aba buto nga yetegereza ebintu naye kapa mu 85 mu nsanvu okkiriza nze nakula mmanyi Museveni akyuka n'afuuka kapa.
Katolaba Uganda waliyo engeri endowooza mindset nti buli muvubuka asagenga n'abasiba balance Basiyazi era abasweta abasinga bagamba mbu omuntu asiba balance sayini y'Abasiyazi bwe beekola bwe beeyisa. Naye Victor otuuka wano bw'aba ogwanywa butima bano abagenda bawambira abantu nti Musiyazi bakuba ne bakutta
bajjajja b'abantu wano basiba balance
kayina baku balance twalabanga e Uganda abavubuka empire bazamba ino mavivi nga like boxers ndipo anawe beda bwe
waliwo MP wa Nuupu mukyala mwerabidde erinnya lye nga bakayisa biiro yali ku TV n'akakasa abantu nti abaana abwe mulaba bambadde empale nga zigudde wansi bonna bayina Pampa yali a member of parliament wa Nuupu.
Nenga Victor kuno buli musajja bukyanga ntuka wano sirabanga yo musajja nga tasibye balance abavubuka beewummula ennyindo
abatasiba balance
nga
tebasobola na jisiba
kati obulimba buli mu bantu Victor kuno kuliko abasujja bosanga nga yawummula ennyindo yawummula amatu n'olimu naye nga straight naye nga buli kimu kiwummule naye nga
bagamba kirala
ate omulimu gukyali mungi erasing away that obwo bulimba buli mu bantu obwo tugenda kukola tutya okulaba nti buvaawo kamukamu mu Uganda
ezitulumbye lwa Abasiyazi omuntu nakkiriza nti kituufu Abasiyazi baleese enzige enzige eziriko ne science waazo ne season zaayo na lwaki ziba zimigrating ne zigenda awantu
obulimba bungi
omuzadde Uganda watuukirwa oyo Mama Toronto bazadde be bamugamba nti okubeera naawe Omusiyazi tubeera n'omwana ali abantu yakitugamba wano ku Kimeenza. But can you imagine
olemwa
oli kwati obeera n'omwana wo ng'ali abantu naye nga tobadde na Musiyazi ate tebiri waffe Uganda yokka ne Ghana Makdali ng'abagambye kubanze namulaba yafuuka pastor kind of a pastor naye yafuuka pastor olwa mutabani omwana wa muganda we omulenzi nephew yafa yali Musiyazi ne bagaana omusabira kyolwokuba Musiyazi era ono kyekyamutwala okusomerera ebyabapasita asobole okuziika Abasiyazi nga babasabidde.
Ne kambuuze
kati eyo Ghana
Katonda tabanga yakyayira abasolodde tutamanya nga yabakyayira munange n'abagamba nti bane bali abantu beefuula bategeera Katonda okusinga ne Katonda nyini bulamu bali bamutegeera baaba.
Ebisiyaga says I'm happy to see Justice Hunter here. Yes, Justice Hunter atulabidde ku Twitter. Kuba ne ku Twitter.
Basitwali tebategeera Yesu. Basi taafu mu ggulu.
Basi tebategeera Yesu naye.
Bane bali bandoza bakola mu ggulu bakola wa Katonda.
Basala emisango bajjaji kale. Si kutegeera Yesu yekka basala emisango.
It is sometimes
yakatta n'abantu naye n'avuma abasiyazi. Olinga yakabba ssente z'omuwi w'omusolo naye n'avuma abasiyazi.
Ye ensonga Victor gye mbadde njogerako ya mwami Mpuuga. Like yali mwami Mpuuga y'omu ku bavumirira abasiyazi ya supporting abasiyazi. Ne siwulirangayo omusiyazi alidde mu entire political party lukwe.
Naye yawemudde.
Banange ebyembi bisekerwa. But we have to be accountable. You know, there are bigger sins like corruption. You get corruption with someone who loves themselves authentically.
No, Victor, abantu kye balema okumanya nti sometimes abantu oba sometimes obanjo gabakiri luberera abasiyazi tuli so honest. Tuli so real, tuvayo ntugamba we
are honest with who we are.
Kino kye tuli, kino kyaffe kye tuli. Tetwekweka mu ddiba lya mbuzi.
Omuntu novaayo otegeera. For this entire time, this is what I'm saying. You've been speaking bad about a specific group of community, otegeera, which is continuously marginalized, underrepresented, right? And you hold a certain amount of power, you know, so which means you're not representing your perceived community, but you're also representing Basiyazi in the government. And you can't, and this is where I hold the line. Kakati gwe tori mukyamu kulyamu entire political party lukwe kulya $500 million. You know,
half a
million never Mpuuga yekaza.
But me, who is choosing to live my life, sina bwenzibye.
Toina gwokoseza.
Sina bwenkoseza. Sina political party gendidemu lukwe. Oyitegere. And
toina dwaliro lyolemeseza ddaga.
Sina dwaliro
toina somero lyolemeseza kugulibwa ddesi.
Sina oyitegere. And I should be killed. And they say I should be imprisoned. Now, hypocrites. Ori, I'm so corrupt for this entire time. You get what I'm saying? It's now good.
Chris, nalabye n'abasajja abakulu ab'e Masaka nga they are standing behind Mpuuga.
You get what I'm saying? This is the line where we have to hold everybody accountable. You get what I'm saying? This is the line. And whether they want or not, the universe does its actions. You get what I'm saying? This is the line where we need to hold our leaders accountable. You know, you don't go in a parliament thinking you're only representing a specific group of people. You're representing the entire citizens. Obabali identifying about you, Babatia. Never dare no call him Sango. No was in table what did you to Ramupaka last day. By him come and buy and buy. So that means it is not forever. So when we're taking decisions like that, we have to look at the communities that we impact.
They were not bonera hypocrites.
All of them.
Omanyi lwaki ba hypocrites. Yalabye nti nno Mpuuga yawemudde. Naye tannalaba nti nno abantu bali mu kuwemula okugamba nti abantu battibwe. Nti abasiyazi battibwe.
Battibwe.
They are all hypocrites.
Ngayo yagamba beteeka ly'abasiyazi baalikolera opposition n'engamba Bobi Wine ayogera amanyita abasiyazi gye bali e Uganda abonabona.
Welinda akyogera siyazi. 2026 wano nga bali mu bya campaign. Bagenda.
Ate tamulino
Basiyazi.
Oyo yeefuula oyo tumulize.
No, that is the other thing. You know, people should actually know that we are educated and we educate ourselves even based because of the experience going. Victor. I was making good amount of money or mwaka ngafune mtwalo jange ngamunana I was okay. Nekati not anymore because I'm in school. I had to go back to school. Emyaka esatu be wansi to educate myself. To make sure yes, to invest in myself. That one day I will offer these services, mental health services, wellness services to my community.
Right.
But with that background knowledge, with that information. Perhaps
I have the best.
And it is because of that lived experience in activists to Ghana we are Ghana.
Mark Darling, yes.
We are forced, we are pushed, you know, to that age of okay, I will go, let me dedicate this for my community. Let me do it for my community. No dayo no soma no tula no kakana no itambyo ise musomero ne no gamba sijja kuvaayo kama mbaya ni mbaya otegera Me, I can't start to explain to you the things I'm facing at school, the transphobia I faced. Nene gamba, I almost dropped out. Nene gamba pana. There is a reason why I came here to study. And I persisted, Nensigarayo. Because I need to take that information, educate. When I sit on the table, one day I know I'll sit on that table. You get what I'm saying? I will have my own lived experience and I'll have my paperwork. Ogenda kungamba yoji.
Tojja kuba ku menu this time.
Menu one.
But what oli ku meza manya nti no oli ku menu.
Oli ku menu. Buli kimu kyati You know, this is the thing that
ala nagambye okulya mmeka yagala kulya.
The power we have, the power of resilience. The power we have, like, and that is the other thing I want us to focus on, Ky'abasiyazi. We shouldn't dim our light for anybody else. No country, no parent, no person should let us dim ourselves for anybody else. We shouldn't be humble to getting our success because we have to please anybody. We should be going however obstacles. I swear, which means have shaped us to be the people who are resilient, who are going to keep going. Either in Kalabo Basikalabye, which they kuba kati DT, which they get no carrying by mistake. So let us embody ourselves with that. Walai. Equip ourselves with so much information. Victor Ogambi. Let us do our research. Let us equip ourselves with information. When time go having a conversation with someone. Nina a lot of information, a lot of backup. Nebwale tama je katapira. Tasobola kunsinga reasoning.
We know kwekutulako ekyo ekisirani ky'obutalubuuza. N'obutasoma n'obuteetegereza bintu.
The nowadays I look at it, but there is one time I need to hold myself accountable. This one, let me hold myself accountable. Kubanga is important. Even as leaders, there's one time a kid saw me wearing earrings, long earrings. Omwana nambeerako bubinyo. Omusajja lwaki oyambadde earring? Lwaki oyambadde earring? Lwaki oyambadde earring? Yandiko obubinyo ne mugamba waayi bundeka. Ositegeera.
Canada
Uganda. 5 minutes ambuza earring. Nimugamba buli omu ayambala earring gwenga gwozambadde bundeka. But seriously, when I go back to think about it, I would have educated this kid. Nali simanyi. Omwana yali very curious. Ostegera. Nebo nayoga ekigambo kyo kasi katika damu na kwogera bambi kigambo na kimu. Nange ne mpulira ennaku mutima. Naye nga mazima ddala. Omwana nandi munnyonnyote. Ostegera. Nagamba
nze buli chance Jeff na ku bantu abali homophobic eba yakusomesa.
Ostegera. I will not. And that is me looking back and I see myself. That is me seeing myself here. Nagamba what? But how would I have responded in that situation? I had an opportunity to educate this child, but I did. And that
now you're more equipped.
Now I'm equipped to educate that kid in these simple scenarios. But I pray for that moment again. Now I said our lie. Right now, if I get that opportunity, I'll educate that kid. Mugami songa nyambara yaringi zange mpamvu. Omwana namugamba nveeko nze nkubulira and I leave me alone
kamba sibule Victor bane kangende nebake nakoze kiro mana keep the
Nenda weba ka oli bulaya.
Benga mbagala nyo keep the fire burning. Chris, thank you so much Chris. Ngola bino mulade mama sino oja kuona kasawa funye treatment entufu
mama
Buyazadde abalongo bali mu incubator babadde tebannatuuka.
Mama
bavudde mu tebannatuusa bannange
Kyekyamisazisiza.
Nego yakaje Canada mama
Yajja nabaalabika.
But
it's always good to see you, Dawson.
Good to see you too. You too have a wonderful. I will see you Sunday.
Yeah.
Webale nnyo.
Dawson yasanyusa nnyo bambi.
Victor. Yeah, you know, that is an opportunity. Now there's one thing I also know, no opportunity wasted. I follow Angelica Rose a lot and she has this show, no opportunity wasted. So, you know, we always have to grab our opportunities. That one I wasted it, but I said not anymore, not any further.
Tofa ate kati kojinyumiza ne wano oyina bulabudde oyina bobusiza.
Amaso
kono kojinyumiza wano oyina bobusiza.
We wow.
Nga opportunity bungi kati bugenda kumisingibwa by all of us.
Etubumi.
Naye nga tetunagenda nina kye njagadde okubuuza ennaku zino zonna. Muganda wo aliwa? ayimbira wakati
aliwaina
keko
jali
Uganda
yali Uganda ate agenda kureleasinga some music by the way
ndowooza kikirwa kyasirisa ali mu kukikuba
agenda kudde no batagenda kudda
afumba that is a question for her
obadde oyagala mulabako ng'oli Canada ojja mulaba
mama sino jangu osooka visiting nga tonnaba kwagala kulaba balala
buli ya tiketi by the way nzije
naye gwe tosobola gyegulira
njagula ekomawo
nedda oguleemu return
yammeka ye gye wammwe
kisinziira zibiringa mu $3 225 kuba oli
mu kulinnya ennyonyi waliwo ebirala byasobola okulinnya
abaali wano mu Canada asobola okutambula anyway asobola okutambula with just an ID
gamba asobola okulinnya ebirala
ebirala
nga si nnyonyi n'aba nalinya train Canada mwina Amtrak oba mwina ndala
tulina train esobola omujja gyali nemuleeta wano. It's a good experience. It takes longer.
Anti kati mbokuddeeyo
ojala zonna ng'oli mu train
and it is very comfortable. Alina okuba ng'omwana amaze okuwummula
soko laba abaana b'omu incubator bwe wazadde ojje ng'olierese
yali afa ng'afa avuddeyo musajjale mubuuza oli otya nti abalongo simanya bakoze bakya banazadde abalongo bakukyusi bangu buli mmere ebeeramu okusaaga
okiraba
abantu tubawe messages za wiiki
njakujja kasimena kubuukinga bifula binyonyi bijjeeyo ebina mu bino binkolerako online sibimanyi mpira kunika seno binkolerako
tujja kuyigira
nayo ino biga tusibule n'abantu abatuwuliriza bambi tujja kudala
mbasibule nga mbakuutira to be joyful even in this hard situation and to love mbeera ne bweba etuyisa bubi let us find those little things that make us joyful. Joy down in my heart. Down in my heart, I feel joy in my soul. I got joy down in my heart. Down in my heart.
I am so happy. So very happy.
I'm taking you as my backup. Ngenda kuweereza music ngambe biramu backup awo kayana.
Njakugezaako obutanywa sigala okumala omwezi nsobole okuyimba obulungi.
Onkubire voko. Gale mukama abankuumire bannange. Never did right.
Agambye nti naffe n'ensi yaffe.
Yes.
Bwati bwe yatandise mu luyimba akapeera gwe yatuwadde naffe ensi yaffe.
It is our universe too.
Okay, so Chris Webale nnyo, may you have a wonderful week. A positive week. And everybody out there, Anito inayo ekigambo ekisembayo?
Nagabasabira abalongo bange basukka baterere bulungi bakuledde ne njakubaddira wiiki ejja.
Kala Anita abalongo abo naffe tujja kubasabira. Naawe mubeere bulungi ne Alan abeere bulungi. Thank you so much for showing up ne mu bulumi bwo. N'abalala babaddeko Facebook ne ku Twitter, thank you so much. That was Queer Table Talk, Ekimeenza Ky'abasiyazi ku Victor Mukasa Show. Olwaleero twogedde ku Ghana and the law that is about to pass in Ghana if the bill is signed by the president of Ghana. So it shows us that we still have a lot to do, a lot of work to do. And let us not wait for Ghanaians to reach out to us if we have any suggestions. Let us also reach out to Ghanaians and share with them strategies and best practices, things that have worked for us. Let us share with each other. And we shall win this war eventually. Have a wonderful week. May all those who are sick, including you, Anita, get relief this week. Speedy relief and comfort. And everybody else, reach out to Ekucho, who you haven't reached out to in a long time. That is your friend. You never know what you find there. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful March. Au revoir. Salut.